dear reader, it's time for your end of the year wrap up horoscopes. Let's get into it. Relevant for your sun, moon, but especially your rising sign. Pisces, you have had a lot of misplaced faith throughout 2025. Pisces placements, I think you have been pouring a lot of your faith and your belief maybe into the wrong people. You thought something would go differently. You believed someone had good in them or would be able to commit or follow through on this or whatever it might have been. And maybe you had some disappointments. 2025 might have been a lot of people, certain situations, okay, disappointing you. And you're coming out the other side by the end of this year feeling like, okay, where am I supposed to put all this love? Where am I supposed to put all this faith? And I think this is a time for you to be pouring all that energy back into yourself, Pisces. Okay? All of that love that you are feeling, and it's like, where is it all supposed to go? It's supposed to go back into yourself. 2025 might have felt like the glass is half empty, but next year is going to be reframing it into the glass is half full. Okay? A lot of friendships and a lot of relationships were under review for you this year, Pisces. And I think this entire year, 2025, was under review for Pisces, waiting for things to be approved, existing in this weird kind of limbo space. A lot of uncertainty for Pisces this year. And I think it maybe even felt like, Pisces were kind of like wading in the water a little bit and the deep end. And they're just like waiting for a lifeboat to appear. And the universe is like, there is no boat. The entire journey is you swimming. That is life. No one's going to save you. And it was very maturing for Pisces. This year was a very fast-paced, accelerated maturing for the Pisces placements. It's kind of like if you watched a butterfly go into cocoon mode, sped up. That's kind of what was happening for Pisces. Going into hermit mode, I think 2026 is maybe going to surprise you in a lot of ways as kind of fortune maybe returns back into your favor. Your hands are on the wheel, and it's now time in 2026 next year, Pisces, where you begin to finally spin it. And the good thing is, no matter what you land on, it's going to be working out in your favor again, which feels very good. It's like finally luck is finding you again. Favor is finding you again next year, Pisces. And maybe it exists in very small, subtle ways, but anything to kind of get you maybe out of the rut that this year put you in. And I think also 2026 is going to be about grounding the magic. It's going to be grounding the dreams. I think next year is going to be about, okay, we're no longer visualizing. We're not fantasizing anymore. We are living proof of our manifestations. We are living proof of the magic, right? I think that this year was about Pisces learning how to trust themselves again. You're going to be going into next year with a newfound sense of self-belief, okay? Pisces, I promise you, you are not doomed. You are claiming your power back going into 2026, and I think it's going to be a lot of you maybe surprising people. And everyone else is like, I did not know that she had it in her. Period. I think you are going to be trumping over a lot of people's expectations next year. You're going to be making other people realize that they underestimated you. I think next year is really going to be finally giving you the clarity that you spent this entire year searching for. Aries, next year is telling you that not everything needs to happen right now. Not everything needs to happen right now, Aries. It's not all going to happen at once, I fear. And 2026 is going to be showing you how the world is absolutely your oyster, but timing is everything. And momentum only really matters when it's channeled wisely, when it's done efficiently, okay? 2026, next year, is really going to be about mind over matter for you, Aries, and learning when to sprint and learning when to just fucking walk for a little bit, okay? Next year is going to be a slow burn. It's going to be, you're going to be simmering a little bit. You're not going to be going into next year with, the fire is everywhere. You're burning and everything's popping off. Like, it's actually going to be more of a quiet fire in the woods, okay? Embrace that. that warmth, that connection. Don't put too much pressure on yourself going into next year, okay? Give yourself the time and the grace to actually get the things done that you are setting out for yourself. For Aries, to not settle, okay? And just because the first thing that comes to you, if it's not exactly what you envisioned, if it doesn't feel right, you don't have to take it. Just because it's the first thing to appear, it doesn't mean that it's meant for you. Don't try to carve out meaning for things that aren't really there, okay? If you have a vision, stick to the vision and don't allow that to falter. And just because something comes quicker doesn't necessarily mean it's what's meant for you and that's what's actually going to be the best choice for you, right? Sometimes you do have to wait for the better option, the better choice, the better situation to reveal themselves. When you go looking for a house or a new apartment, you're not just going to take the first apartment that you fucking see. You're going to wait until everything that you want, for the most part, all those boxes are checked off. And then maybe along that process, you realize, well, the thing that I said I really wanted, I'm realizing isn't actually that important to me. I'm going to prioritize this now. Or maybe the house or the apartment or whatever that I fall in love with doesn't necessarily have everything checked off, but for some reason, this just feels right. Like, those are going to be the moments in 2026 for you. Desire is going to have to be very disciplined going into next year. It will pay off. Taurus, you do not have to stay put any longer. I think Taurus, maybe you're looking around and you're seeing surroundings that are a little bit too familiar, okay? And if it's a little too familiar, that means you're staying out of comfort rather than out of conviction, okay? It's time for you to move, right? And I know that's not really your forte. I know, Taurus, you guys are slow moving. We know this. And I think that you're good at allowing and enjoying the silence of growing things. But I think that Taurus is very prone to needing indulgence and needing gratification, especially that immediate gratification. And next year is really going to be about, releasing that and going into next year with this intentional indulgence. You're attached to things out of comfort's sake, and that needs to be retired going into the 2026, okay? Anything that's weighing too heavily on you, anything that's draining your life force, okay, that weight is going to be lifted going into 2026. I think Taurus people might be questioning a little bit, maybe dealing with some self-doubt regarding their purpose. And I think next year is really going to be highlighting with a clearer sense of that purpose and that drive and what is sustaining you. 2026 is going to be about sustainability when it comes to your energy, when it comes to your effort. I think Taurus released the need for explanations, okay? Just because if something's dulling, if something's gone stale, you don't necessarily always need an explanation for why. Like, you don't even need to, you don't owe anyone an explanation, okay? If something doesn't feel right anymore, you don't have to keep yourself chained to that. And I think Taurus carries a lot of guilt with them, and going into next year is going to be about releasing a lot of that guilt. I think it's because Taurus hates this idea of giving up on things. And Taurus, you're not giving up. You are actually just being efficient. You are being honest and true to yourself. And that's not only good for you, but it's good for everyone else involved. So Taurus, make sure that you're staying true to where your heart is guiding you. And it's important to listen to your heart. Is it easily defined? Is it quantifiable? No, Taurus, and I know that that's comfortable to you, but sometimes we do have to step out of our comfort zone, and sometimes we do to do that so our real originality and our real authenticity can arise. But when we're burying our heads in the sand and we're burying ourselves down, that's how we silence ourselves. That's how we keep ourselves from our true calling. Happening underneath the surface for you going into 2026, Taurus, and next year is really going to be revealing those roots. And you might find that some of those roots are rotted, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, we need to replant everything that's in this garden. New blueprints for you in 2026, Taurus, and it looks marvelous.